Good evening, everybody. Welcome to League of Europe once again. And after the fast race last time out at Silverstone, things are equally as speedy again, but the walls are never too far away. Welcome to round number 7 of the season at the Jeddah Corniche circuit. It is the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. My name is Luke Etheridge, and I'll be taking you through the action, as always, on a Friday evening. 18 minutes of qualifying, followed by 25 laps of racing around what is quite a unique circuit, well, unique street circuit in Formula 1. I've only ever seen it, of course, once in real life, and it definitely provided a fantastic race, definitely provided the thrills and spills that we've come to expect from this new generation of street circuits, Baku being another one, of course. Second longest track on the calendar, and very high speed indeed. The fastest street circuit in Formula 1 in terms of average speed. You're up there with probably a bit faster than Silverstone. Only really Monza that can challenge it in terms of the fastest average speed. And last time out at Silverstone, the fastest man of all from pole position was Bogin. He took his first victory of the season. I'm sure we'll all agree it has been a long time coming. Kangoo Kon, though, continued his fantastic run of form. A 4th podium in a row and another 2nd place for him this season. And Marcus Towler working his way up. He finished 3rd. What that's done then for the championship, as you can see here, it is Kangoo Kon on top at the moment. RJW is there, and then it is Bogin in 3rd place. Still, obviously, plenty of time to go, and I think a lot of people are expecting that Bogin, he might be the main threat for Kangoo Kon at the moment. He has put on some fantastic results over the last couple of races. 3 pole positions in the 4 races he's taken part in. Definitely not a man to be trifled with. As we take a quick look then at the track tonight, the Jeddah Corniche circuit, 6.174 kilometres, 3.836 miles to 3 DRS zones and 27 corners. And a few of these drivers, judging by what they've said in the Discord, are going into this with no practice, which might not be a wise thing around most circuits, I don't think. Doing it around Jeddah is extremely brave indeed, and expect to see a few drivers having issues with that. Take ourselves further down the championship. You've got Bloodwinds on 52 at the moment, J-Col on 50, Velho 41, Rafa and Merckx on 38, Cortalundi on 25. That rounds out the top 10. Of course, winner of round number 1 of the season, Cortalundi at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Another fairly new circuit to the Formula 1 game, of course, having appeared on this game for the first time since 2013 in any form, and for the first time as an actual track on the F1 calendar since 2006 and the F1 Championship Edition. So that's going to be one to watch out for, to see how he does around here. If we go for the Constructors' Championship, unsurprisingly, seeing as they've got 2 drivers in the top 5, it is McLaren on top at the moment. 169 points. Aston Martin have closed in just that tiny little bit. They are now on 74 points. Ferrari 1 point behind on 73. Then it is Williams, Haas, Red Bull, Alfa Romeo, Mercedes with Marcus Towler getting their first points of the season. So that worked out absolutely ideal for them that he's now joined as a full-time driver. They're finally off the mark in this championship. AlphaTauri and then Alpine. They are in last place at the moment. But still, obviously, still a long way to go in this championship. Still plenty of things can happen. You never know where the changes are going to take effect. You never know what different issues could affect some of the drivers. You never know what chaos could affect some of the drivers as well. So we will have to just wait and see how this race goes. I'm expecting, I think as everyone expects around a circuit like this, I'm expecting some form of carnage. I think it is all safe to say that things around this track always very difficult, always very tight. We've known that from the one race that we saw in Formula 1 and the major crashes that were there. 2 red flags. Of course, Mick Schumacher, the cause of the first red flag with that major accident that he had coming through, I believe it was coming through the final sector, and then straight off the start line, almost incidentally, his teammate was involved in an accident, which also took out Sergio Perez as well. So safety cars breed safety cars is a common theme in Formula 1, and I think it is going to be a common theme tonight. I think we're going to see, we're very surprised if we don't see any safety cars whatsoever. It doesn't appear to be like Monaco, where you seem to be able to get away with no safety cars for whatever reason. And there's the calendar for the rest of the season. We're staying in the Middle East for the next race to Bahrain, then heading over to Australia, Belgium, Netherlands and Russia. The circuits left before the break week, and then the final races of the season, China, Hungary, Canada, Brazil, ending in Abu Dhabi across the PlayStation tiers on the 21st of May, ending of course on the PC the night before on the 20th of May, but still an exceptionally long way to go before we get ourselves to that stage, of course. So, just going to have to wait and see. Won't be too long before we are then underway with the qualifying session. As always, 18 minutes of qualifying, and then the 50% race, which does equate to, around this circuit, does equate to 25 laps. Again, because of the length of the circuit, the fans sort of feel like they're getting a bit shortchanged around here because they don't get too many shots around the circuit. But trust me, it is going to be carnage, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. In terms of league racing, the circuit always seems to provide close action, and that we all know and love. As we do then head into the racing, getting ready to get this race underway. Getting ready to get the qualifying session underway, nonetheless, as we have got the first cars starting to make their way out onto the circuit. So, just seen one of the Aston Martins, I believe, heading out early on, and seeing as it's not J. Cole, that must be his teammate, XL Miami, then heading out there. Miami, I mean, we've said this a lot so far this season, as the cars appear to be doing something very strange through that part of the circuit. And my goodness me, I do apologise, I'm not quite sure what is happening there, but the cars seem to be doing something very interesting indeed going down the straights. Don't know whether that's Miami's, well, I hope. I don't know if I'd say this, but I hope it's Miami's connection, because the cars are doing something very juddery indeed at the moment, and I'm not quite sure what's causing this. I'm not sure if that's coming through on your end. If it is, I do apologise, but I will hopefully try to get this fixed. But yeah, that could get quite annoying if that is something that we see a long way throughout the qualifying session. Most of the drivers are still in the pits at this moment in time. Anyway, let's try and ignore what is happening with the cameras for now, and let's go on a hat lap with XL Miami. See what he can do around, as we said, this circuit is just about to head down towards turn number 27. Yes, there's a lot of them around the circuit, and starts himself on a qualifying lap down towards the start-finish line, heading over to the left-hand side of the track as much as possible, crossing over the finish line now, drifting over to the right-hand side. Spot your braking point around the 100-metre board for turn number 1, drifting down into second before short shifting back up into third. The corners coming at you thick and fast at this circuit. Very careful through turn 4, deceptively fast corner. You do need to be careful though that you don't get too greedy through this part of the circuit, coming through 6 and 7 now into turns number 8 and 9, and then 10, 11, 12. Just these short little flicks that are basically straight in a Formula 1 car. And now he heads all the way around turn number 13, this long banked left-hand corner that can always be quite tricky for some of the drivers. I expect to see a few drivers maybe even sending it down the inside there into the races. Now coming into 15 and 16, turn number 17 follows quickly afterwards. 18 almost of just continuation. The fast corners flowing at this part of the circuit. It is pretty much single file through here, one of the longest flat-out bits of the track. You need to get ready and spot your braking point for turn number 22, down into 5th gear, through there, flat through 23 and 24, and now it's all about just keeping the car nice and steady. DRS open, one of the 3 DRS zones on this track, as you can see on the map on the left-hand side, and heading into turn number 27, the final corner of the circuit, where of course we saw Hamilton and Verstappen get very close to each other, and they got even closer than that, making contact down the straight. Miami heads towards the finish line, and it is a 1:28.766 then for XL Miami. Great time from him. First one that we've seen of this session. We'll see who else is doing a lap at the moment. Matthias now. He goes fastest on a 1:28.2 for XL Matthias. So, we are seeing some good times at the moment. Again, apologies for the juddering we are seeing on some of these cars at the moment. I'm not quite sure what is causing it, because it does not seem to be an issue when we're not on when we are on board with the cars. It only seems to be happening when we're on the outside view and we're getting... Ooh, Carter Lundy there. He's one of the drivers who said he hasn't done any practice, and he has damaged his car already. So front wing's already gone on Carter Lundy's car. You can just see how much it's going to affect your car. He won't be the only person to do that during this session. He will not be the only person to do that. Got a few drivers setting laps on the mediums at the moment. That's pretty decent lap from RJW videos on the set of the medium tyres. And a 128.382 from the Ferrari. Got one of the Williams just following in behind. Just who's that heading around at the moment? That'll be Wello then. He's coming through the first sector. So let's see what sort of times Wello can do as he comes through the first part of the circuit. 30.3 through there. And of course, this DRS zone, not actually one in real life. They did use the DRS a bit later on in reality. So a bit surprising to actually see that hasn't been changed in the game yet. Making his way into turn number 17 and 18. This is where the DRS zone is. Oh! Just taps the wall there with the rear of the car. Brilliant slide, and perhaps a bit quite lucky that there was a wall there to avoid the car going all the way round. But for Wello, that is a yeah, that's a shame for him. It was looking like a pretty good lap up until that point. Shame that he had that incident. XL Merckx, he's now just about to come through the middle sector. Again, things always fast, always furious at this circuit. Definitely is a circuit that you need to respect, that you need to be careful of. He's about to head up to the penultimate braking zone, really, of the circuit now. Turn number 22 into 23 and 24. Just one long continuation of each other. This flat out section, you will see quite a few overtakes into the final corner at turn number 27. But a lot of the drivers might just try to stay behind, of course, knowing that they'll then have the inside line, well, they'll have the DRS on the run down towards turn number 1 as Bogan, the star of the qualifying over the last few races, that's a 126.863, and XL Merckx comes across the line to do a 127.798. So the majority of the drivers have been out on the circuit. Alec just coming now through the middle sector. We're going to take this opportunity while things have calmed down just to see if we can sort out the graphics issue we're having as the cars are coming around when we're on the broadcast camera. So we'll be back with qualifying footage in a moment. Right, folks, won't be too long. We are heading back into the session. Hopefully the issues do seem to be there a bit, but hopefully they're not as bad as they were earlier on. It is still Bogan fastest at this moment in time. J-Col in second. Bogan fastest, Catalunde, I should say, in second. J-Col third, Merckx in fourth. Black Panther in fifth, as we've just seen Velo shoot his way up then into third place in the Williams. Great job by him. He's not had the, he had a good race, obviously, early on in the season at the French Grand Prix, but since then, things don't seem to have gone well for him for whatever reason. Matthias, he's now on his second run. He's invalidated. Unlike a lot of street circuits, as you can see, there is a lot of areas here where you can invalidate your laps and where you can get it wrong. Cartalondi looks like he's just on a bit of a cool-down lap at this moment in time, so not really trying anything too dramatic at the moment. Still plenty of drivers yet to really challenge towards the top of the order, but here's a man who has been, so for every race this season, he has looked quick that he has taken part in. 3 pole positions out of the 4 that he's been there, and that is Shazoo Bogan. He's really setting some pace at the moment. Sub 30 seconds in the first sector is always a competitive lap time. That Red Bull flings its way round turn number 13, gets as close to the walls as he dares at that part of the circuit, and now of course it's all about lining up, and that's it on this circuit. You've already got to be thinking a couple of corners ahead. Really delicate steering movements needed in these fast corners. Want to be scrubbing up as little speed as possible. The advantage for the drivers, I'd say, that are on the wheel versus those that are on the pad. I think anyone using a pad might just struggle a bit more on pace tonight, as that looked very close to being an invalid lap time there from Bogan, but the game says it's all fair, so he should get away with that one. The stewards are monitoring track limits at some part of the circuit. Final corner is one of those, so we'll see if this is nice and clean from Bogan coming through there in the Red Bull. Looks like a good lap at the moment. Bit of wheel spin on the exit, and what is last week's race winner going to do? Can he consolidate that lead? He can indeed. 126, 6-1-2 from him. Cartalondi, the only other driver to get into the 126ers at the moment. RJW has got himself up at this moment in time. Merckx setting a much better lap. You can see here, he's the fastest car at the moment to have done his best lap on a set of the mediums, and he's already 0.6 of a second up. Full commitment there through 16, 17 into turn number 18, this Alfa Romeo. It's been a bit of a struggle season for, Merckx. Yes, he has had that win, of course, at the French Grand Prix, but a bit like Velo, both of those two drivers putting in great performances there. It's just not really been able to hit them heights ever since. It's his only top 5 finish so far this season. Was the last driver to see the checkered flag at the last race at Silverstone, but at least he did see the checkered flag and got himself a point for the fastest lap. And a reminder that is the top 12 get points in here in LOE, not the top 10. Very similar to the actual point scoring system used in Formula 1. But from 7th downwards, it goes 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 here, rather than 6, 4, 2, 1, as is in the real world. And Merckx showing that pace that he had at the Paul Ricard circuit to get himself into 3rd place at the moment, just behind Cartalondi. But being a street circuit, you would expect track evolution to take an effect as things do go on. So Marcus Towler still has set his best lap on a set of the, well, actually, I don't think he's done his best lap. Yeah, still done his on a set of the soft tyres by the looks of things, possibly. He's on an out lap now, so we'll see what tyres he's got on. Yeah, he's gone for a set of the mediums at the moment. He's trying something different. Maybe just backed off of that lap earlier on, thinking that, again, you know, taking advantage of some of the pace differentials here, that he might be able to get into the top 10 on that set of the medium tyres. It is a straightforward one-stop strategy, but again, there's going to be virtual safety cars are very possible. Full safety cars are possible. Getting damaged. So starting on the set of mediums might be a bit of a risk here if you want. There is an early safety car, because all those on the softs can get themselves a nice cheap pit stop, and you are going to be costing yourself quite dearly. Alec on the lap at the moment. He had his, well, retired last time out. Best finish so far this season was 6th at the French Grand Prix for the Haas driver. 13th in the championship at the moment, with a livery that I don't think we'll be seeing on the next game whatsoever. I don't think I need to tell anyone about the reasons for that. I'm sure we're all well aware of the devastating scenes that are happening in Ukraine at the moment. Thoughts and prayers with everyone who has been affected by that. Alec now just heading into turn number 16 and 17, a 10th and a half up. At the moment, 2 minutes 30 remaining in this session. It is Bogan, Cartalondi and Merckx, the fastest drivers at this moment in time. And again, still finding a bit of time. He's a 10th up. Oh, a bit deep perhaps then. I was going to say he's a 10th up. Coming through the sector 2 point. Maybe just braked a bit too late into turn number 22 to get himself that quarter of a second up. Really did go deep, it seemed, into 22 and 23. Doesn't need to find much to get himself... Well, needs to find about 3/10 of a second, actually, to get himself into the top 10. And I do wonder whether that tiny little mistake might have cost him. Alec heads towards the line, and you can see there, lost over 2/10 in that final sector. So does make an improvement, but stays in 11th for now. We've got a yellow flag, and I think that is just for Alec slowing down. Snipe is on his... Well, he's trying to set his first valid lap of the session, but he's invalidated at the moment. Marcus Towler, 4/10 of a second down. Not sure what he expected as... Oh, Snipe has actually crashed out on circuit then. So, Snipe is out of this session. The Alpines got it wrong. Looks like that is coming through turns number 8 and 9. You can just see him off into the wall there. So, he's going to be starting down in 16th place at the moment. The Alpines do look like they're struggling in this session, and they are rooted to the foot of the constructors' stable at the moment. And judging by the way this qualifying is going, they are going to stay there. But the race is a different matter. You always just do want to have that clean run in qualifying. Get yourself some confidence, and the fact that he's not done a lap at all in this session doesn't suggest that he is going to have a lot of confidence. I think Marcus Towler is just doing a bit of practice at the moment. He knows he was one of the no practice club drivers, which not the best thing to be doing for a driver who has got some great pace. We know he's got that natural talent. So maybe just trying to see how things are going to go in this session. Maybe, obviously other things, life does get in the way for a lot of these drivers. And Marcus Towler, he will not be setting any improvement in this session. He will be staying in 9th place at best. His teammate, coming through the Sector 1 timing split at the moment, he looks a long way down. Yeah, 2.5 seconds. So he's not going to be getting his way up the order at all. RJW videos, he's invalidated. So we're not really seeing anyone lighting the timing screens up at this moment in time. Only 12 seconds remaining in this session. A lot of the drivers getting ready, I think, to just try and finish off their laps at the moment. You're going to see the time running out, and it is going to be Black Panther, unless we have got that timing glitch. It is going to be Black Panther who actually decides to dive into the pits, I think, knowing that he's not able to set a valid lap time. So checkered flag is out in this session, and who's going to be the first driver, I think, to head their way across the finish line? It looks like it is going to be the Williams of Velo, and he has invalidated, so we're not going to be seeing any improvements from him. What can RJW videos do? He's another one that is invalidated. James, we know, is not improving. Neither is Marcus Towler, so a lot of drivers finding it tricky in the final part of this session. It's all down to, Carter Lundy. I think it's going to be one of the few that we might see challenge for the fastest time at the moment. Can Lucky Finger get himself off the back row of the grid? He's alongside his teammate at the moment, down in 15th. But he'll be hoping for a lot better than that. Into the final corner, not really challenging the apex, pretty much doing a Max Verstappen through that final corner. As Lucky Finger heads towards the finish line, can't see this being a big improvement. And in the end, he is down just that tiny little bit. Carter Lundy then, he's improving at the moment. He's 2/10 of a second up. What's his final sector been like for the Canadian? Heads to the line. Stays in 2nd place for now. Bogan's improving, but he has invalidated. We've got the 2 Aston Martins. They're heading towards the line now. J. Cole stays in 6th. Miami has invalidated. Merckx round the final corner. Can he get himself onto the front row of the grid and get his best qualifying result of the season? No, he cannot, but does find an improvement in the final part in that session. So even though that final lap wasn't good enough with the invalidation for Bogan, doesn't matter. That is his 4th pole position in 5 races. He has really set this league alight since joining. And for KangoCon, not having the best of qualifying sessions, he is quite a long way down the order. But it is Bogan on top once again here at Abu Dhabi. Carter Lundy is in 2nd place. Merckx and Velo making an all XO XL 2nd row of the grid. And you can see those top 3 drivers, 4/10 of a second over the rest of the field. Quite intimidating indeed for the others. KangoCon, our championship leader, starts in 5th place. Can he keep his 4-race podium streak going? He's going to need to get some overtaking done if he wants to do that. J. Cole is in 6th. RJ in 7th place at the moment. Of course, they're in that very tight battle for 2nd in the championship at the moment. Black Panther is in 8th. Marcus Towler and Matthias round out the top 10 of the grid. And then it's Alec, Miami, Rafa, James, Lucky Finger, and of course we saw Sniper Owens failing to set a time in that session. So that is it for qualifying. Won't be too long before we're seeing what the drivers can do in the race, of course. So qualifying in the daytime. You know, that's just for slight little differences here, whereas in reality, obviously, you know, they're seeing things happening at the night time, just getting things a bit different, like we saw at Monaco, where we had the race and qualifying in the daytime. And I can tell you from my limited experience of doing the race around there, seeing as I lasted about 7 laps in Division 5. There's reasons why I commentate, ladies and gentlemen. Was just a bit different to get used to. I imagine some of the drivers have been practicing that little bit more for me. You're just thinking about picking out the braking points, picking out different things. And it's still going to be daytime as well for the race. So these drivers are really going to have to get used to doing things slightly differently. As we take a quick look at that calendar once again, then you can see we are at Saudi Arabia next week, Bahrain, Australia, Belgium, Netherlands and Russia. Remains to be seen whether Russia will be staying on the LOE calendar, of course, before the break week. And then those final 5 races at China, Hungary, Canada, Brazil and Abu Dhabi, rounding out the season and rounding out the F1 2021 game. Won't be too long before we are then getting the race underway and seeing what the drivers can do. Let us know in the chat what your predictions are. Can Verbogen convert his 3rd pole position in a row into a 2nd victory in the row? Will we see Carter-Lundy get up there, or Merckx once again? Those are, well, 3 of the drivers that have got 1 win each this season. Kang O'Connor, championship leader, who's had quite a lot more than 1 win at the moment. He is just a bit further back. He is on 5th place on the grid at the moment. So he's definitely got some moves to do around this circuit, and definitely just the way this season's going, he's all of a sudden not starting to have it all his own way. As we take a look at the track map once again, 6.174 kilometers, 3.836 miles, with the 27 corners and the 3 DRS zones, and it is that one into turn number 1, and possibly one into the final corner as well, where you will see the majority of the overtakes taking place. Those are the strategies what everyone has gone for. Interested to see a bit of a mix outside of the top 10 of soft to medium tyres. We knew the top 10, obviously, we're all going to be on the tyres that they qualify on. That's another new rule we'll have to get used to for the 2022 season. Intrigued to see how that one's going to work. Probably going to disadvantage, well, obviously going to disadvantage those on the alternate strat, so from 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th, but a slight advantage to those starting 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th, knowing that they're not going to be compromised, but maybe just removing that extra element. What can Styfrones do from the back of the grid? Didn't get to see a clean lap from him in qualifying. He has had points 3 times this season in the 5 races that he's taken part with, and his best finish was actually at Monaco in 8th place. You know, taking advantage of the fact that a lot of drivers did have issues around there, and who knows, even though he's starting last, it does sometimes give you the opportunity to avoid the carnage in these races. At least you know you can't get hit from behind if you're starting in last place. But Bogan getting ready then to just get us onto the starting grid for this race. He takes pole position, 4th time in the 5 races he has taken part in. The king of qualifying at the moment, Carter-Lundy and Bryn Evans, the other drivers to have had pole positions so far this season, and one of those is alongside him, Carter-Lundy in 2nd, and it is Bryn's old teammate, Excel Merckx, in 3rd place. What can he do as he looks for only his 2nd podium of the season? His last one was a dominant victory at Paul Ricard in dry to wet conditions. I sincerely doubt we're going to get something like that tonight. Final cars, you can see the Alpine there just coming into position. Bogan with the view everyone wants at the start of this race. The green flag will wave at the back of the field, and then the lights will go out as we wait to get this race underway. We've got 5 red lights. Carter-Lundy has got a jump start, and I can only assume he's had a bit of a glitch there with the game telling him when to go. So we are off racing in this. Carter-Lundy's well gone down the field, and I think he's gone straight on at the first corner, has he? Oh, we've got a host migration happening as J. Cole's left the session. Oh, we've got a virtual safety car. We've got all sorts of chaos happening in the background there. Merckx got a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. My goodness me, what has happened? Marcus Towler is out with this race. Championship leader Kang O'Connor's out of this race. Merckx is out as well. I wonder if we're going to have a restart here, folks. I wonder if we're going to have a restart, because all sorts of drama and various things happening there. You've got Alec disconnected all over the place. You've got various drivers getting 5-second penalties. I think we're having a restart here. I think we are going to be having a restart, people. Just waiting to see what is happening in the chat. And, yes, it is going to, yeah, we are going to have a restart then, folks. We are going to have a restart, so, everyone, as you can see, is retiring from the session, so hopefully it won't be too long before we get that underway, and you're just going to have to cope with my voice again. Thanks, Carter, for telling me. Disadvantage of having Discord in streamer mode at times, obviously you don't get the notifications, but everyone's just doing what they want now and driving around at full pace, and who can blame them? But, yeah, so we are actually going to tell you that the race is going to happen at night time and not midday. That was not meant to happen. Qualifying happened at midday, but we are going to be having a restart then. Qualifying results, I believe, are going to stay that the way they are. So it is Bogan on pole position then. Will be Carter Lundy alongside him. Did have that jump start as well, did Carter, of course. So I'm not sure whether that was caused by a glitch or by that point we knew the restart was going to happen. So apologies for maybe being a bit late on that one. But everyone is just leaving the session, and then we'll be able to get our way, obviously, back on the way with the race. 25 laps of Saudi Arabia. I said we were going to see safety cars and virtual safety cars. I didn't think we were going to see any red flags. So, you know, the game proving itself, as always, to be full of perhaps full of surprises, even ones that we sometimes don't want. But I'm sure it will be worth the wait, folks. So a reminder, Bogan will be on pole position. Carter Lundy in second. Merckx going to be alongside him. Those are our front three drivers. Championship leader finds himself a bit further down the grid than what we used to, but he's yet to have a pole position. This season is our championship leader, so I think it does show that pace that he's definitely a better racer than he is qualifier. And, you know, to paraphrase Bobby George, quali for show, racing for dough. That is where the points are doled out, and that is where the championships will be decided in the race, not in qualifying. So he's got a chance to, I say redeem himself. It wasn't exactly a poor qualifying session. Those top three drivers were just so far ahead. We're just so far ahead of the rest of the field, of course. Those top three drivers were just flying their way along. Tell you that the lobby is just getting reset at the moment, so yes, very interesting qualifying section actually. Just to say, I mean, we've seen Bogan a few times this season be extremely fast at the front of the field. This is probably, in the last couple of races, the closest we've seen anyone really get to him in terms of qualifying pace. And let's not forget, Carter and Bogan, both of them, did not get a clean run on their final laps in this session. Neither of them really getting things right on their final lap, so they'd have been hoping for better things than what actually happened. I was just waiting for all the drivers to get in. Then we'll be able to set the grid quickly. Then we'll be able to get ourselves underway here at Jeddah. Who will take the victory? 25 laps. Turns out the session was also set to clear weather and not dynamic weather. How much of a difference that actually makes at Jeddah? If anyone can tell me, I'd love to know, because I know at Bahrain, and I've seen it at Abu Dhabi. I have seen rain at Abu Dhabi. Bahrain, not so much. Jeddah, I imagine, also falls in the very unlikely that you are going to get yourself any rain category. But hey, that's just sometimes the way it goes in Formula 1. Reminder, we are just waiting for the session then to restart, and then we'll be able to get things underway. Bogan on pole position, and it is Carter Lundy alongside him. Then it is Velo. Well, then it is Merckx, I should say, then Velo, and then our championship leader. Those are the top few drivers. As you can see, we've got ourselves a lovely little Jeddah graphic now for this race. And all the drivers are in the lobby, so it should not be too long before we are able to get things underway. Now, what this does mean Top 10 we know are going to be starting on the soft tyres. Top 10 are going to be starting on the top tyres, but they're starting on the soft tyres. They are now getting a fresh set. Top 10 will be getting a fresh set of the soft tyres, let's not forget. So that just changes, changes the dynamic of this race ever so slightly. It's not going to be a huge disadvantage. Soft tyre wear never really seems too much of an issue around this place. But just makes things slightly easier for those, obviously disadvantage for those outside of the top 10. Reminder, we are just restarting after we have had a few lobby issues. Just adding to that extra bit of tension for the drivers. So now we have to, obviously, if the setups weren't working in qualifying as well, also make any changes. We've effectively, I imagine Parc Fermé's been scrapped. That's the easiest way to think of things now. Drivers don't tend to obviously make too many changes to their setups, but if they were feeling that the tyres in qualifying, felt like they had a bit too much oversteer, a bit too much understeer, they can make changes normally in Parc Fermé conditions. Let's not forget, you can change the differential, you can change the tyre pressures. That's probably the most common change we see drivers do between qualifying and the race, and you can also change the downforce on the front wing as well. But 25 laps of Jeddah coming up very shortly, and we I think since we last spoke, we haven't seen any additional testing in Formula 1. They will be testing at Bahrain very shortly in the one official pre-season test. Don't ask me what the difference is between that and the shakedown last week, apart from it being on TV. I think, like you guys, I'm pretty clueless as to why they decided to do that. It did feel a bit more, I know some of you younger folks may not appreciate it, but it did feel a bit more old school, having testing not being televised again and just relying on the text updates and relying on the odd little bit of videos. Do think, though, the cars look so much better this year. Don't know if anyone else is, to be honest, I don't know if anyone's in disagreement. Pretty much everyone that I've seen so far has said they do really enjoy the looks of these cars. We'll have to see how well that they race. Of course, the proof will be in the on-track action, but speaking to what the Ferrari drivers were saying at the end of testing, I know Charles Leclerc was saying sort of in that mid-range to about half a second to a second behind. It felt as bad as before, but further back and once you get closer than that half a second, it does feel better. Of course, if there's less drag coming off the cars as well, that might mean DRS is a bit less effective. So it might see a few more old school overtakes on the brakes, and I imagine one driver that will be looking forward to that is the Honey Badger, of course. Daniel Ricciardo loves sending one on the brakes, and if the braking distances are a bit longer this year because of the increased weights of the cars, that might also just give a bit more opportunity for overtakes on the brakes for what is now down to a 22 race season. And I think I speak for everyone involved in Formula 1 when I say just leave it like 22. There's no need for the 23rd race. I was used to 17 or 18 races when I was younger. Let's keep it at 22. Let's just, let the mechanics spend some time at home. Yes, they're incredibly lucky to get to travel around the world, but it's long hours, it is tiring, and it's definitely not conducive to a good family life. I've been travelling around Britain this week, and I'm knackered, never mind doing it all the way across the world. Right, the 16 drivers have readied up, so we shouldn't be too long before we are able to get this race underway around Jeddah. Let's not forget there is going to be plenty of PS action tomorrow as well. 6:30 for Division 1, Division 3 and Division 4 action. James Eder Montana taking you through the top tier, of course. And then at 8:10, straight after those are finished, you will have Division 2 and Division 5, where I managed to pull off a fantastic strategy in the wet weather, if I do say so myself. It won't be happening tomorrow, mainly because I'm not there, but partly because it's Saudi Arabia, and despite some drivers jokingly saying in the Discord that it was going to rain at the end of the session, it's not going to rain around here, so they're going to have to just rely on the old-fashioned overtakes, not rely on strategy as much. But as we said earlier on, safety cars could always play a big part at this circuit. Don't be surprised to see things concertina up into turn number 1. It is the slowest corner on the track. The only one that really rivals it is the final corner, and they should all be a bit more spread out by then. So lap number 1 of this race could be the carnage that we've sort of come to expect from League Racing. Even the Challenger Series has been showing off a bit of carnage at the moment, so not too surprising to see it happening across different leagues as well. But let's take a look at the track map then before we get back into the race. 6.174 kilometers, 3.836 miles with the 27 turns and the 3 DRS zones into turn number 13, turn number 27 and into turn number 1. We know what tyres everyone is on for. Everyone deciding, well, those inside the top 10 didn't have a choice. Those outside of the top 10, I think, were also told, we want you to start on the tyres that you were originally going to. So it is James and Sniper Rounds outside the top 10 on that set of the soft tyres. And again, Sniper Rounds leaving it quite a long way behind the rest of the pack to get going here. This is an interesting tactic from the Alpine driver. Interesting tactic to just sort of hang back. Seems to have closed up to the bit of the field now. Those are the suggested strategies. Soft, medium or soft, hard. Would be surprised to see too many drivers go for a set of the hard tyres. The alternate strategy can work well around here. So if you're Alec, if you're Miami, if you're Rafa, who seems to be in a McLaren for some reason rather than the Haas that he is normally in, I'm not quite sure why that has happened. Rafa, of course, is a Haas driver. His points, I believe, will count for Haas if he scores any. Won't score any if he stays in 13th. We do need to be in the top 12 to score points as they all get ready to go again. Bogan for the second race. Well, I believe it, yeah, for the second race, third race actually, in a row. He starts on pole position. Should have had a victory at Monaco before that controversial clash with J. Cole while going for the fastest lap. Did get the victory at Silverstone, which never really looked in doubt after the first pit stop phase. What can he do here from pole position? He knows a victory puts him up into second of a championship and might just start turning the screw on XL Kangokon, who has a 55-point lead at the top of the championship. He'll be leading after the Bahrain Grand Prix, even if he double DNFs and we see RJ or Bogan take wins and the fastest lap in both of them, as Sniper Rounds is onto the grid slot, and we wait for the lights to come on here then at the Jeddah circuit. We've got 5 lights. And the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix is go. Didn't look like the greatest start there from Carter Lundy, but he slots in just behind Bogan, who leads into turn 1. Further back, there's a few drivers hustling and bustling, and one of the Mercedes is round. That is James, who's had a spin. I think Rafa's had an issue at turn number 1 as well. They are both round, but it is Bogan leading as they come through this fast sweeping section for the first time. Carter Lundy just behind Merckx, Velo, Kangokon, J. Cole, Marcus Towler, all over the back of J. Cole at that point there, and I thought for a second he was going to even try a brave move into turn number 7 and 8, but just having to back off as further down the order. I think Alec must have ran wide ever so slightly on those medium tyres, and Sniper Rounds taking advantage of that and the issues at the start of the race to get himself up into 13th. But it is Bogan leading. He's got Carter Lundy right underneath his rear wing at the moment, but it is really single file at this part of the circuit. An intriguing lap 1. Everyone seems to have survived so far majorly unscathed. I think again here you're just seeing a bit more straight line speed from Carter Lundy, and that could put Bogan under pressure once the DRS becomes activated. Of course, the Canadian driver won't be able to stay this close to the car for the entire race, otherwise he will be overheating his tyres quite rapidly indeed. As Sniper Rounds gets another move past the lucky finger, and I think we could see Carter just thinking about one. No, decides to stay back for now, not going for anything. The field, well, top 9 are just all together at the moment. You can just see here Carter's coming. He's got so much more straight line speed than Bogan at the moment, and this surely should be a straightforward move into turn number 1. Down the inside he goes. That was very close to being contact between the two of them. Bogan very determined to try and defend that place. James gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Well, this is going to be an intriguing battle, I think, all race long. And Carter, not really, well, neither of them using too much DRS at the moment. If they can work together, they might be able to escape from Merckx, Velo, and some of the others. As again, Marcus Towler is all over the back of J. Cole. Him and Carter really look like they're being held up in the first stages of this race, but it is Bogan leading from Carter, Merckx, Velo, Kangokon. Here's the battle between J. Cole and Marcus Towler. As perhaps unsurprisingly, given the fact that he didn't set a clean lap in qualifying, Sniperones is the first man to get a multiple warnings penalty, and James obviously has that 5-second penalty to serve at his next pit stop. Sniper is the biggest winner on the first lap of the race. He's up 4 places. Alec, the biggest loser, down 4 as again Cartolundi. He's basically pushing Bogan through some of these corners. Once DRS is active, he's going to be through, and I don't think there's a lot the Red Bull driver is going to be able to do for stopping him. Red Bull versus AlphaTauri, the 2 sister teams, as Carter thinks about one all the way around the outside. Might be able to force Bogan into a worse line here, and could just get that better exit as Mert closes in as well. I was surprised last time Bogan managed to hold on to the lead. I'll be even more surprised if it happens here. Cartolundi's going to go for it down the inside. Of course, once he loses that slipstream, things become ever more difficult indeed. He's still got that inside line. And there we go. Carter takes the lead of this race. DRS activated on this lap. First time they'll be able to use it is into turn number 13, as that is Exxon Matthias into the pits at the end of lap number 2. Medium tyres going on that car, and a new front wing, and Lucky Finger into the pits as well. Can only imagine he has also damaged his front wing in the early stages, as we've got a yellow flag, and that is Rafa, who has retired from the session. Coming, looks like he's lost it on the exit of turn number 3 and has retired. His car is still moving on track, however. So Rafa is out of this race. We have already lost 1 car, and it is now Cartolundi in the lead. And Bogan definitely not pressuring the AlphaTauri like we were seeing the AlphaTauri put the Red Bull under pressure earlier on. They're just about to head through this fast sweeping part of the circuit from 18 down towards 22. This is DRS zone. In real life, on the game, you've just got to rely on slipstream, and the slipstream seems to be superbly effective at the moment. These front 3 staying extremely close to each other, and Velho, Kango Con, and J-Col and others not too far back either. So here comes Bogan, choosing not to use his DRS at the moment. Judging by the rear wing on that car, he's quite happy to just stay behind maybe and rely on the ERS. Takes a bit of a wider line. Is he going to try it all the way around the outside? That's a bold move coming out of the final corner, and I think they're just playing a bit of chicken with each other to see which one of them will end up getting with DRS, and that has allowed Merckx to get an absolutely superb run. They're nearly 4-5 wide down towards turn number 1. It is Bogan in the lead of the race. Cartolundi stays in second, and Merckx stays in third. Velo and J-Col battling as well. These front 7, I mean, just look how close they are. 1.3 seconds separating them at the moment, as Velo's got into the back of Kango Con. Just getting caught out there by how close all the drivers were. I'm surprised it didn't end up in contact earlier. It has done now. Kango Con's got himself up into 4th in all of that, as Velo gets a time penalty. And that's allowed the front 3 to escape. But we've already seen a little bit of games and gamesmanship we're going to get with some of the top drivers, as Marcus Towler still trying to work his way past J-Col. Finally manages to pull off that move. So that is Marcus Towler up into 5th place. J-Col very quick behind though, and Velo, the big loser in all that, got a 3-second time penalty. J-Col gets his first. It's really becoming clear that penalties are going to have a big part to play in this race as well. Marcus Towler now battling with Kango Con. Velo battling with J-Col. They're coming 2 by 2 into turn number 22, and Velo's got past 2 of them. I thought for a second he was going to try and move past 3 of them as well. He's really got some good pace. Just obviously getting halted, and so much battling going on at the moment. We've still got what's going on at the lead of the race. Let's not forget, between Bogan, Carter, and XL Merck, none of them wanting to be the car that is left behind, of course, in this massive long DRS battle. Though there comes Bogan, staying to the inside. Carter and Merckx in behind. No changes there. Plenty of things happening further back as J-Col and Kango Con come into the pitch. Championship leader is in, and it is a new front wing. I was wondering whether that lap he had any damage. Oh, Alec, he's retired from the session. As he looks like he's spun. That is coming out of turn number 18. His car stopped in the middle of the circuit, so not seeing any signs of a VSC or a safety car yet. That is quite an awkward place, though. Do wonder whether we're going to have the Monaco issue. You don't actually get too many safety cars around this track. So we are down 2 cars already. 14 remaining. 16 cars started this race. 14 cars remaining with 20 and a bit laps to go. As we now take a look at position changes, because, there's Alec's car in the wall. Thank God he is ghosted. Stiperone's obviously the biggest gainer. Kango Con the biggest loser, having to change the front wing in his pit stop as well. He has got a fresh set of medium tyres, which should take him towards the end. Might have to do a bit of tyre management and might be hoping for the safety car. Judging by the pace of these three, I'd say Kango-Kon's streak of podiums is coming to an end. James, who I believe is still looking for his first points of the season in the Mercedes. Best finish so far was, his only finish so far was 13th at the Austrian Grand Prix. If he finishes this race, I think he's got a chance of getting himself some points once again as the slipstreaming shenanigans start once more. Carter Lundy underneath the rear wing of Shazoo Bogan. And again, chooses to stay back for now. Velho, though, he's not staying back at all. And these front three, well, these next three behind the front three have really got to think about how they can work together at the moment. Try not to hold each other too much, because it seems the leaders aren't really going for the move. So if you can swap around at the DRS zones and just everyone share a bit of DRS, you'll be doing yourselves a really good job indeed and putting yourself in quite a good position as Velo's run off the circuit. At that point of the track, though, no opportunity for Marcus Towler to really do anything about it. Here's the battle for 10th. J. Cole and Kango-Kon lead cars out of those that have pitted. J. Cole with a 3-second time penalty. Kango-Kon's kept it clean in terms of penalties. Did break his front wing, and that has been a feature of the championship leader so far this season, taking advantage when others have had penalties. Any late safety cars, and we always know around this track how easy it is to get a safety car. That could put him in good stead. We'll just have to see how he does. But he is second out of those that have pitted at the moment. Still, the slipstreaming continues at the front. And there comes Carter Lundy. And I think this time Bogan's like, you know what? You can have the lead of the race. I'm just going to slow down on purpose. Thankfully, didn't see any Mercedes going to the back of him like we saw the last time the car did that on the straight. There's Carter Lundy. No wonder he went for the move. He's diving into the pits, and I wonder whether we're going to see Merckx try and go for the lead for the first time. Both of these cars with the DRS is going to make it that ever bit more harder. But now that Merckx, for the first time really, the car in front of him does not have the DRS. What can the French GP race winner do? He wants to show he can fight with these big boys more consistently in this league. And the performance he's put in qualifying and the performance he's put in the first 6 laps of this race, they're suggesting he definitely can. J. Cole with the fastest lap of the race, and Marcus Towler and Velho came into the pits as well on that lap. Carter Lundy has come out behind Miami, who is all over the back of Black Panther at the moment on those soft tyres. The Ferrari has steadily improved so far this season, but just does not look to have the pace around here. As you can just see the difference, fresh mediums versus the old mediums, almost losing it on the curb there as they come through 10, 11 and 12, and that is Carter Lundy round the outside. He knows he's got to make this undercut work. The DRS will have helped him. I think might only have negated all the time he lost being stuck behind that Aston Martin. And the Aston Martins still do have an incredible point scoring record this season. Every race, I mean, J. Cole, one of the few drivers to have scored points in every race so far. 6 out of 6 on the PCT, as Merckx has taken the lead of this race off Bogan. Miami, he's scored points in all 5 he's taken part in, just showing that they keep going towards the end, and they always seem to be there or thereabouts, and that is why they're second in the Constructors' Championship at the moment. As there comes Carter down the inside of Black Panther. He is up into 4th. He's going to be close with the net lead of this race. The 2 leaders have come in, Merckx and Bogan. RJW videos in as well, so this is going to be a battle for the actual lead of this race. And where are they all going to come out? And I think Carter is going to be quite clear of the lot of them. Down towards turn number 1 then, Carter Lundy is in the lead of this race. And where's Black Panther and Merckx going to come out with all of this happening? Merckx got ahead of Black Panther. Bogan has had to stay behind. That is a disastrous pit stop period then for the Red Bull driver. Was in the net lead of this race. He's now in a net 3rd, but he's just going to lose so much time behind the Ferrari of Black Panther at this first part of the circuit. And a bit like what we saw from Carter last time around, he's having to do the move in quite an unconventional place down the inside into turn number 13. Probably the best case scenario there for the Red Bull driver. He is in 3rd, but the majority of the drivers have done their first pit stops as J. Cole sends it on Sniperones, and I think Sniperones has just found himself getting hung out to dry there. He's lost a place to Marcus Towler as well. He's lost one to J. Cole, and I think he'll be losing one to our championship leader Kango-Kon sooner rather than later, as he takes an intriguing line through turn number 16 and 17. And there goes Kango-Kon up into the top 10. Velho's worked his way past Miami as well. He is into 5th. And we'll have a quick check of the penalty scenario. 3 seconds for the majority. 8 seconds for James. He will lose 5 seconds at his pit stop. As yellow flag. Yellow flag. Who is that? That is Matthias. That has had a spin coming through 16 and 17. Doesn't look to be any serious damage on his car. As there comes Marcus Towler trying a different line. And you can just see the exit that he gives him. And J. Cole is going to have absolutely nothing to fight with here. DRS over the open on the Mercedes. Some pretty fantastic straight line speed there from the Aston Martin. In the end, though, nothing he can do. And Marcus Towler is up into 8th. But he does have that 3-second time penalty. And one of the drivers who doesn't is Kango Kon. He's not too far behind. Kango Kon could still get a 4th place in this race. He'll need this pack to speed up and try to get up to Velho, who will soon be behind Black Panther on those softs. So Marcus Towler, massive moment coming through turn number 7 there. Did well to hold on to the car. This track can bite. This track can bite and catch you out at any moment. Matthias has been into the pits, did get some damage, so a new front wing on his car goes onto the soft tyres. Maybe just seeing what happens around this track. It's definitely worth staying in. I would not retire out on track around here. There are parts of the circuit where the walls are never far away. And even though you might not have a crash that can lead to retirement, we've already seen plenty of carbon fibre being strewn around here. Back towards the lead though. ExxonWorks, Cartolone, Bogin, the top 3 drivers as we're about to head into lap number 10 of the League of Europe PC Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. All the drivers at the front seem to be doing a fantastic job on their ERS. You can see Velo just closing in to Black Panther there, who's going quite a long way on these soft tyres. And as I say that, the Ferrari driver does dive his way into the pits. But Merckx able to hold on to the lead there. He has got fresher tyres than Carter behind him. He's on the same freshness as Bogin, as Marcus Towler now sets the lead of this race. RJW Videos gets past Miami. And a reminder, RJ another one of those with fantastic consistency. His worst race of the season, well, that was last time out at Silverstone. He finished in 8th. Other than that, he has been in the top 5 in every single race. And if he can keep it clean from now on penalties, as Velo's just picked up another 3 second, who knows? Could be another top 5 finish again. He's had 1 podium, and that was at Portugal. Almost got a podium at Emilia Romagna, but Rafa got a penalty removed, as there comes Marcus Towler past Miami as well. He knows it is crucial to just try and stay with that Ferrari in these stages of the race. Just try to keep with him. Try to see if you can save a bit of ERS, save a bit of fuel. Maybe not save some tyres in the dirty air, because I think we're going to see a swap between the 2 Aston Martins soon. Miami doing the wise thing, letting J. Cole through. He's on the better strategy at the moment, is J. Cole, and it's still very close, let's not forget. 4th, second in the championship. Bogin does seem like he's going to be the one taking it in this race, but you've got RJW on 62 points. The man currently 5th in this race, and I think very soon he's going to be the man in 6th in this race. Marcus choosing to stay behind into turn number 27, doing what he did to J. Cole just a couple of laps ago, and doing it with a similar level of effectiveness. As there goes RJW into the pits. Has he got damage on that front wing? RJW into the pits. We haven't seen him make contact with anyone. The only way I could think is that he's just clipped a wall somewhere. And yes, there is a front wing change being done by the Ferrari, so he's going to drop a long way down the order. In towards 10th place it is going to be for him. But he's still in this race. And who knows, any safety cars could just change things back towards his favour. As Bogin, maybe Bogin has got the fastest car around the circuit. But we've already seen he's not got the straight line speed just by the first few laps of this race from Cartolone. It looks like Merckx has got some superb straight line speed as well. And that is now the problem for Bogin. Now that he's the 3rd car in the train, the car in front of him has got the DRS, and he's not got that extra tool in the bag at the moment to try and just take advantage of the pace that he's clearly got. A podium is still going to be a good result, and there is still obviously a long way to go in this race as Lucky Finger retires in the pits. That puts us down to just 13 drivers, so only 1 currently standing out to miss on the points. But Bogin, unless you've got the straight line speed, you can't really get close to the drivers in front, so maybe he's just waiting until these 2 start battling, because at some point it will happen. But I think for now, Merckx will be quite happy with his position. And I think Cartolondi, even though he is pulling out of a slipstream, and what do I know? Down the inside he goes into turn number 1. Very clean move from the winner of race 1 in this season. And that is Cartolondi into the lead of this race. And Merckx just making a bit of a mess in all of that. J. Cole has now got ahead of Marcus Towler. So that's the Aston Martin driver up into 5th place, and Kango Con is all of a sudden right on the back of these guys. I think our championship leader already feeling that he's in a bit of damage limitation mode. Knows that a podium is going to be exceptionally hard, barring any penalties for the front 3 riders, as he gets very close to the wall there, coming through turn number 8. My goodness me, almost shaving the end of the end plate off on that front wing of the McLaren. But Kango Con just sticking with these drivers for now. He knows that's all he needs to do to get 5th place. If he wants 4th, he's going to have to get himself further up the order. And time flies when you're having fun. We're nearly halfway through this race. Cartolondi on lap number 12 at the moment, just having taken the lead on this lap. Merckx quickly caught up once again. Bogan seems to be a lot closer than he has been on the last few laps. View from the back of the AlphaTauri, and Merckx. Again, no DRS being used by these drivers. Oh, Cartolondi's gone, I think, very tactically there to try and get that DRS detection point. And it has worked out well for him, but he did not get the best of exits. But I don't think that's going to make any blind bit of difference. He's about as close as he was last time around. And he goes down towards turn number 1 again. Very sneaky from Cartolondi. If Bogan gets a bit closer, I'm not sure there's a lot he's been able to do about that. And I think J. Cole pulled off a similar move on Marcus Towler, all being very tactical with the DRS at this moment in time, and it's a brave thing to do. It's a brave thing to do in normal circumstances. Ask Nicholas Longe what happened at the Formula 1 esports race earlier on this year at the USA, where he tried to just get the DRS early, slowed down too late, and ended up costing himself absolute heaps of time. As Marcus Towler was about to say, he's running wide all over the place. Not too surprising to see him picking up a 3-second time penalty there. Action further down the field into the final corner. Red Bull and Mercedes getting very close together. Where have we seen that one before? But Matthias is up into 12th place. Does have those extra 1 second of penalties at the moment. Although James, I think, will get some wiped off on his next pit stop. But the fresher tyres working well for the Red Bull at the moment. James tries to fight back. Still going for his first points. Oh, Merckx out of the race. Big shock at the front. Merckx is out of the race. That is a safety car. He has lost it coming through turn number 22. Similar to where we saw Mick Schumacher, apologies, lose it in the real-life Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Axel Merckx has gone off into the wall in quite a big way. What was looking like a great performance from the Alfa Romeo driver suddenly has all gone wrong, and we're suddenly going to see a lot of cars dive into the pits. Miami is going to be a big winner from all of this. He was the only driver that had yet to pit, but I think the entire field is now going to make their way in and put on a fresh set of the soft tyres to take them towards the end of the race. I said Miami was going to gain. He's just got 3 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Good news for James. He can get his 5 seconds removed under safety car conditions, of course. But we have got a safety car, first one of the race with 12 laps remaining. And it's for Axel Merckx, the man who looked like a shoo-in for a podium, having a crash at turn number 22. And this is what we say. If you've kept it clean, you're now in a good place. The top 2 drivers don't have any penalties. And neither does our championship leader. Yes, he's in 6th place at the moment. But you can see drivers in front of him. 2 of them on 6 seconds. J. Cole on 3. Miami behind has 5 seconds. Black Panther, the only other one in the field to have no penalties at the moment. So 4 out of the 12 drivers have managed to keep it clean. And Black Panther, the only driver to have been where he started. Makes it sound like he's had a bit of a boring race. But trust me, he's been involved in some action earlier on, contributing to that bit of a split we almost saw between the leaders. But Bogan was able to get back onto what was Cartolondi on the time. It was Merckx leading. Merckx got overtaken, and then Merckx has had an incident into turn number 22. Very strange, got to say, on this game to see cars lose it there. It's not something that I have seen. I don't think I've seen it happen before. I've not commentated on many races around this circuit, but it does sound like there might have been might have sounded like there has been a bit of an issue between him and Cartolondi. So if It's looking likely at the moment, but, you know, don't want to commentate as Kersey. If Carter does get into the interview, we might ask him about that, because I don't think Merckx is too happy. But we are down to 12 drivers then. Everyone who finishes will score points. And we're behind the Aston Martin safety car. Carter Lundy leading from Bogan. And that is Velo, J. Cole, Marcus Towler, Kango Con, Miami, Black Panther, Steve Bruns, RJW, your top 10. Matthias and James occupying the final 2 points positions. So if you're just joining us and are wondering what the safety car is for, XL Merckx having an incident coming through turn number 22 has said that he feels like he was brake checked by Carter Lundy. So that could be one that goes to the stewards. And it looks like Carter wants, of course, for safety car to get a bit of a move on. It's an incredibly fast circuit under normal conditions, being the second longest on the Formula 1 calendar. Very slow indeed under the safety car, but of course this is only going to be a temporary circuit. We are going to see a permanently built circuit in Saudi Arabia, and if the rumours are to be believed, it is going to have even more corners than this one, and could well be the longest in Formula 1. Could be the longest track we've seen probably since Nürburgring days back in the mid-70s. It is going to be a whopper of a circuit, surpassing the 7 kilometres what we're seeing at Spa at the moment. As James comes into the pits, wonder if he's picked up any front wing. I think maybe just serving another penalty, so this might leave the safety car out for another lap. Got Matthias also trying to catch up to the back of the pack. Hopefully James does make his way onto the back of all these cars. He'll have very warm tyres compared to everyone else, so this is not necessarily a disadvantage either. Maybe not going at full speed, but if you just go slightly faster than what you'd be allowed, probably about 90-95%, you can close right onto the back of the pack. Give yourself some more warm, heated tyres might be a better term, and you won't have worn the tyres too much. But safety car hopefully should be coming in at the end of this lap. Not seeing the announcement yet, so we may well be getting another one, which is good news for everyone. Any fuel worries will be going out the window. Didn't see anyone with the yellow light on the car. And any tyre worries about getting these softs towards the end of the race will be going out of the window as well. It does look like we are going to have another lap under the safety car. James is only just now making his way around turn number 22. This would be incredibly late for the lights to go off. In fact, we've got a green light on top of the safety car, which suggests then that it was waiting for cars to be let through. And there we go. We are back to the normal flashing yellow light. So not quite sure. Well, ooh, there we go. That is a late call then. We only just got onto the pit straight. Safety car is coming in this lap. Incredibly late call by the virtual race director. And now it is everyone weaving aggressively to get these tyres warm. And Carter Lundy has gone for it. He's caught Bogan out ever so slightly there. So that's a pretty good restart then for Bogan. It looks like Marcus Towler's having a good one as well. He's very close to passing J. Cole into turn number 1. Goes for Norwegian driver, has to stay behind, but it's a textbook restart then from Carter Lundy. Stiprone's dropping down the order. Marcus Towler, he's going to have the outside line for turn number 4 here, and he has got ahead before the corner, so he is up into 4th place. He's on maybe for a podium if things stay as they are, and he can just pull himself away from J. Cole. But a brilliant restart from Carter Lundy. He stays in the lead of this race. Bogan in second, Velo in 3rd place. We saw Stiprone's on the mediums dropping down the order. He's picked up another time penalty, and he's now got XL Matthias all over the back of him. The Red Bull driver not really having his best of races. Down the inside he goes though into 10th place into turn number 13. Matthias has scored the odd points so far this season, has had a few tough chances as well, but he'll be happy that he's still in this race. As we've seen, this track does definitely bite. Here comes Bogan, who seems to have found some straight line speed that he didn't have at the start of this race. All of a sudden he's really closed it up into Carter Lundy. Whether he's made an adjustment to that front wing in the pit stops in reaction to what looked like to be a significant straight line deficit early on in this race, might be one to ask him later on if he gets into the top 3, because as we saw with Merckx when he was looking on for a top 3, anything can happen around this circuit. But it's Carter Lundy in the lead, Bogan in second, Velo staying with these drivers as well on this occasion. Velo looking very fast in that Williams. Marcus Towler setting the fastest lap of the race. We've got a bit of split in the field as Miami has already almost dropped a second behind those cars ahead of him. He's got the 2 Ferraris on Black Panther and RJW, but Black Panther has finished higher. Once he started taking part in these races, he's improved every single time, bar one. He's never finished lower than the previous race. He did get 2 11ths in a row, and as I was talking about how well things are going for him, he picks up a 3-second time penalty. The commentator's curse is strong once again as Bogan. This is going to be an interesting chess battle, I think, between these front two, because all of a sudden Bogan has got that straight line speed. He's definitely made changes to that car, and similar to what we saw earlier on, these drivers are able to follow exceptionally close around this track. You can throw a blanket over the top 4. They're separated by pretty much about 7 or 8 tenths of a second at the moment as Black Panther, he's managed to work his way past XL Miami, then up into 7th place. He now sets his sights on maybe getting onto the back of this train because he's still only got 3 seconds, whereas some of them ahead of him have a bit more. Bogan takes the lead of this race then, round the outside at turn number 26 onto Carter Lundy. Carter having to, not sure whether he was defending then from the Williams behind or just trying to attack the Red Bull driver, but Velo going on that suboptimal line is really starting to put him under some pressure. Bogan sets the fastest lap of the race. Black Panther now gets that fastest lap, and Marcus Towler thinking about a move into turn number 1. Can't quite get along the outside. Can he stay the inside for turn number 2? That's going to force him offline, but he's still managing to hang on in there. He's going to have the inside for number 4. This would be a brave move if he can pull it off. And in the end, I think the car behind him just had to give up on that one, did Velo. I think he knew that was going to end in a bit of an incident. RJW's now got ahead of Black Panther, but great racing between the two of them. Did just leave himself enough room. I was surprised Velo managed to stay on the outside for as long as he did, but I think it's pretty clear about that part of the circuit coming through turn number 4. You stay on the outside there, chances are you're going to end up in the wall. As J-Con, he now tries putting the Williams driver under pressure. He only has 3 seconds of time penalty, so he's on to finish in 4th if they stay as close as they are. Kango Cod is on to finish in 3rd place, courtesy of keeping it clean, and then Marcus Towler and Velo might even drop behind RJW videos. We'll have to see if the Ferrari can stay in touch, but now that these drivers have got DRS, that task is going to become a bit harder. You can see they are both using the DRS on this occasion, Velo and J-Col, and J-Col's got a much better exit here, and he's going to have a shot down the inside into turn number 27. The Williams tries again to hang it on the outside, should get that slightly better traction on what is the more traditional line. And he does manage to pull away, but he's still coming under all sorts of pressure. You're seeing fastest lap swapping between all the drivers. There goes Carter Lundy down the inside again into the final first corner, and he is into the lead of this race. If they keep swapping every lap, Carter will be leading on lap number 25. They won't keep swapping on every lap, I can assure you. Bogan will make sure of that, or Carter at some point will just let Bogan by a bit earlier on. As I said, it's going to be a chess game between the field, but if they get a penalty, they're going to put themselves in a bit of trouble. Can't see them picking up 2 penalties at this point, and I'd be surprised if none of the drivers behind him go the rest of this race without picking up any penalties. But I've been surprised on many occasions before, and I'm definitely surprised at how close we're able to see the top 5 cars running in here. Kango Con not too far back behind either, but he's more half a second off the back of the cars in front. Everyone else, we just get the gap to the leaders up. You can see top 5 drivers separated by 1.2 seconds at the moment, and it closes as they, of course, are in the slipstream to almost, well, it does there. You can see under a second for the top 5 drivers. We are seeing some superb racing. Marcus Towler has the fastest lap of the race at this moment in time, and Bogan, he's going to go around the outside, I think, of Carter Lundy. You got Marcus Towler in there as well, so they're going to be nearly 3 wide. There goes Bogan round the outside, takes the lead of this race. I think contact Marcus Towler. I think Velo must have made contact there. The Mercedes spins around. Disaster it was all, getting so close together. And Marcus Towler, what looked like a very good result, he heads into the pits. And yeah, I'm not too surprised that we are seeing him retire from this race. Absolutely gutting for the Mercedes, but he is out of the race. And that's obviously put Velo in a bad situation. Has the Williams driver got any damage on his car? I think that could be one that goes to the stewards there. It looked from my point of view that Marcus was getting very close to Carter Lundy, and whether Velo's just tried one, you know, whether he's tapped the back of Marcus and they've spun around. I'm not sure how much room they were leaving on the exit of that corner, but it has definitely dropped the Williams off the back of those front four, who are now a bit more spread out. I do say a bit. It is still exceptionally close. There's the battle for the lead. J. Cole involved in this as well. If he can just try to force these front two drivers offline at an unconventional part of the track, force them to take a track limit penalty, he brings himself right back into this race. And Kango Kon as well. He's got to be thinking, if I can somehow try and force these front drivers to take a track limit penalty without getting one myself, I could still get a victory. Let's not forget, he had spit for damage earlier on, and a podium looked a very remote possibility. As things are at the moment, as long as he doesn't pick up 3 seconds, it looks like he will be on the podium. And who knows, if some of the others around him pick up that time penalty, it could well be a victory. Back towards, then, the front of this race. Back towards the slipstream. Ooh, that's a bit dodgy, though. And I think J. Cole's trying to get involved in this as well. Down the inside goes Bogan on Cartalundi. J. Cole trying to just stick a nose in, but not able to do so. And that's now put him under severe pressure from Kango Kon. But he's just holding on to that position for now. And now that's Velo back involved. You don't know where to look in this race. You do not know where to look. They are really putting it in. I mean, we've seen the odd bit of contact, I do admit. It is a shame that we've had Marcus Towler taken out with a bit of contact. Merckx possibly as well getting caught out by the braking of Cartalundi. But largely, it has been very respectful indeed. And since the first few laps, they largely seem to have learned to have kept it careful from the track limit penalties as well. Kango Kon does not look like he's got the pace coming through, well, just really coming through the entire track to challenge these guys on a regular basis. As that is Matthias, who's had a spin, still on. As long as he finishes, and as long as everyone finishes, they are going to get points. He's on for his first points of the season, and James is also for the first points of this season. So I know I'm supposed to remain impartial, but I do really hope they manage to get their way towards the end of this race, as Matthias clearly maybe seeing if he can get himself disqualified, because he's just making up his own racetrack there. Leading towards the final corner for the 21st time. 4 more times they're going to negotiate it. And Cartalundi, he's now in the position where he's got to think, right, where do I go for the moves here? Can he? You can see he can't get ahead before the start-finish line. As there goes Carter down the inside of Bogan, and I think Kango Kon going to try one on J. Cole as well, and that's forced all of them offline. J. Cole loses it on traction, and Kango says, thank you very much. I will take 3rd place on track, sir. And now he can start applying some pressure to these top 2 drivers. And how much pressure? Again, he forces them to get a penalty. He gains a position. This has been a great performance in the race from Kango, taking advantage of a safety car. But this is where you've got to keep it clean. And it's amazing how often it is the quicker drivers who keep it clean. You can see there, the top 3, the only 3, without any penalties in this race. Matthias in the pits. He drops down into 11th place. But it is Cartalundi with the biggest lead we've seen, really, from this entire race. Has Bogan hit the wall somewhere? Has Bogan hit the wall somewhere? Because all of a sudden, he is a second behind Cartalundi, and Kango Kon is really starting to put him under some pressure here. Doesn't, well, look like a tiny bit of understeer through there. He's managed to stay within DRS range of the AlphaTauri driver, but this is not optimal at all for Bogan having that gap. This is the most stretched out, as we get a lovely helicom shot there of the Corniche here in Jeddah. That helicam shot just showing that I think Bogan made a tiny mistake somewhere. Seems to have gathered things up, but staying within DRS was absolutely crucial for his race. He may soon be getting overtaken though. Kango Kon thinks about one down the inside into turn number 1 again. Getting very close together, and that's going to give J. Cole a chance to maybe attack back at the McLaren driver. Won't gain anything because of penalties, of course. He is on to finish 4th at the moment. The front 5, in fact I think most of the field, the only change we'd see because of penalties is Black Panther getting ahead of Cyprones at the moment. So despite we've got a varied amount of penalties, as Velo now picks up another penalty, and that is going to drop him within range of RJW Videos, who again is going to get another top 5 finish. He's always there or thereabouts. He admits he's not the fastest driver in this tier, of course. Division 3 pace on the PlayStation platform, but he always finishes. He never gives up, and could well be on for a 5th top 5 finish so far this season. And who knows, if the front drivers get a bit more aggressive, there could still be more to come from RJ in this performance. But Carter Lundy in the lead. Bogan has definitely recovered. And all of a sudden, Kangokon seems to have got a second wind out of somewhere. He's not been following these drivers quite this close for the entire race, but he's really turning the screw. All of a sudden, Carter Lundy says, thank you very much. I will let you have the lead of this race. But this is always for danger, because there goes Kangokon down the inside of Carter. And now it's going to be a straight drag race between the two of them. Carter did have the pace, and I think could be able to challenge Bogan here, and they're almost going to make it 3 wide on the penultimate lap. Bogan's going to lose out to one car. Is he going to lose out to more than one? Down the inside goes Kangokon. He's up into second place. Bogan was in the lead of this race. Coming into the final corner, or coming out of it, he's down into third. Is he still going to be... Yeah, he does have to give that one up in the end. Not giving it up as much as I thought. And this battling just going to allow Carter to build that gap again. Kango's had to use a lot more ERS than the drivers around him. You can see there, Bogan on 75%, Carter on 65%, Kango's on about 20%. He's going to be a sitting duck down some of these straights. For DRS, really, the only thing that is going to save him is he does go offline there. And let's not forget J. Colin Velo. They're going to lose out on penalties, but they are still in this battle. Black Panther picks up a 3-second time penalty. That means he has overtaken Stipe Says, oh, Carter! What the hell? Carter Lundy has lost it coming on the exit of turn number 17. Drama at the front of this race. What looked like a game. A certain podium has been snatched away by what can only have been a driver error. He was comfortably ahead. All of a sudden, he's had a spin. His tyres have overheated. He's into the wall. He might not even get towards the checkered flag at the front. But now, here we are. Front of the race. Bogan, Kangokon, J-Col and Velo. Bogan in the lead using that ERS. I don't think Kangokon has got too much at this moment in time. He's going to have to try it the long way round the outside into turn number 1. Is not going to work. Bogan goes extremely deep. Where have we seen that from a Red Bull before? And J-Col is trying to get involved as well. But Bogan hangs on. Carter Lundy retires from this race. Absolutely gutting for him in the lead. I'd say it looked like he was going to win. In the end, he retires. Merckx, of course, he was another one that was looking good. He retired from a good position. And that has left Bogan in the lead. Kangokon in second. J-Col in third as they finish the first sector for the final time. How much ERS has the McLaren got? About 30%. He will, of course, get the DRS into the final corner. He just needs to see about lining it up and just make sure that J-Col doesn't challenge him as well. The Aston Martin could be the thorn in the side of the McLaren, who is closing in on the back of Bogan. No DRS here, unlike in real life. Just going to have to make sure he can stay close enough into 22 and through 23. Light up the rear tyres, use a bit of ERS, and get ready for the move. This could be the race right here, ladies and gentlemen. Bogan to the inside, round the outside goes Kangokon, takes the lead in this race. J-Col trying to get involved in it as well. Bogan tries one down the inside. J-Col trouts it down the outside. They're 3 wide, heading towards the finish line. It's going to be a straight drag race. Who's going to take the victory? It's going to be Bogan who crosses the line in first. Kangokon in second. J-Col takes third in the end. I think on track he had overtaken the McLaren at the finish line. RJW gets promoted up into fourth after all of that. Velo will finish in fifth. Miami will cross the line in sixth. Then it'll be Black Panther, Stipe, Matthias and James. But it is a second win in a row. And boy, did he have to work for it at the end for the Red Bull driver. It is Bogan who takes the victory here in Jeddah. Yes, Jess, what a finish indeed. Another, as we've got used to here, another dramatic end here. In League of Europe, Kangokon in second, so close to that win. Maybe should have not used any ERS coming out of turn number 23. Would he be had enough to get towards the line? Maybe if J-Col hadn't have got involved, we wouldn't be talking about that. Maybe if J-Col didn't have any penalties, we'd have been talking about him as the victor in this race. But still another podium for the Aston Martin driver. Third one of this season. He's really starting to put in some good performances and putting himself, maybe not for the championship, but maybe a dark horse for an extremely good result as well. Stipe gets driver of the day. Had a terrible qualifying, but made it to the checkered flag where so many others didn't. But it is Bogin. Second race in a row, he takes the victory. Kang Ocon limits the damage by finishing in second place. And J. Cole helping keeping Aston Martin in a healthy position in the Constructors. He takes third. The rest of the provisional results then, another good performance from RJW Videos despite making 3 pit stops. He finishes in 4th place. Velo 5th, Miami in 6th. Black Panther continues his streak of improving in races. He finishes in 7th. Sniper owns in 8th. Matthias and James get their first points of the season in 9th and 10th. Cartolundi retired after that inexplicable, perhaps, spin in the race. Marcus Towler, another retirement from a good position, as was Merckx. And we lost Lucky Finger, Alec and Rafa early on in what was, I think as we've become accustomed to here, what was another extremely dramatic race. I don't think anyone knew what to expect at the end of that one. I certainly was not expecting to see perhaps as much action as we got at the end. We are going to try and get the top 3 drivers in for some interviews, as I think RJ sums up that I think RJ summed up that race quite good here. Only at Jeddah could I put myself in the wall and still get my second best result of the season. So we are hoping to get some of the top 3 drivers in for the podium interviews. Of course, I think Kang Ocon quite used to appearing in the podium interviews now, and we're seeing Bogin and J. Cole become regulars as well. They are really doing a good job this season of always being there, always being consistent, and that's what you need for a championship challenge. I mean, perhaps maybe even Heeden mate wasn't expecting to put in a victory around here, but Kang Ocon, held on, came so close to getting the win at the end of that race. In the end, though, he will take second, and I'm sure the man who's just joined us will take third place. It is J. Cole. Quite a dramatic end to that race.
I don't know what to make of it. I'm not gonna lie. It was something. That's all I can really say. It was something.
Yeah, just tell us a bit more about your race, because earlier on you were sort of in that second battle that was happening behind, alongside Velo, Kango, and I think Marcus Towler was in there. There were times we were going 4 or 5 wide almost into turn number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I was battling with Kango, Marcus a lot of the time. I think I was right behind Velo at one point as well, and I think there was just a bit of like a Constantina effect. I think in like turn 3 or something. I think both me and Kango both got wing damage from it, so it kind of messed up our race. But at the same time, I think the safety car kind of helped it out. And I'm not gonna lie, I haven't touched Jeddah like at all before the beginning of this week, or I say beginning Wednesday, and I'll take a podium.
Yeah, definitely. That's another podium for you now. 3 podiums in the last 4 races. How do you think you'll get on at the Bahrain circuit?
I know it's a lot of people will say, oh, it's quite a padded track, but I actually quite like the circuit. I'm hoping I can do okay at it, but I suppose we'll see. GT7's only just come out, so I don't know if I'm going to do a lot of practice at it, but you never know.
That is a very good point indeed. I'm looking forward to picking that one up tomorrow. Anyway, J. Cole, I'll let you head off. Congratulations on another podium.
Cheers, Wesley.
And it is another podium and another victory then for the Red Bull driver. Bogin takes his second win in a row. And as I said to J. Cole, that was quite a dramatic end to that race.
Hello, everyone. It was a hell of a dramatic finish. I don't really know what to say. It was still the finish line. I think I played it quite smart because I had 2 options. I could deploy my battery and basically lose my race. But I thought that it's F1 game. It's not working like that. You have to. The DRS is basically too overpowered, and you have to keep that in mind. I kept it till the last corner, and as you can see, it paid off. But yeah, it was a dramatic race. I think I had most of the race under my control until the safety car. Like I knew what to do. There were 3 of us because I think it was Merkt. I hope I pronounced it correctly. There were 3 of us, but then he crashed. It's a bit controversial because Carter was going really slow through that corner. I think it was. Let me check.
I think it was turn 22.
Yeah, something like that. It was just before. No, it was the beginning of third sector, the left-hander. It was, yeah, as I said, it was a bit controversial for me. But yeah, until that point, until that safety car, I think I had everything under control. I knew what to do, but the safety car kind of ruined that confidence. But yeah, the luck was, I think, on my side today, and I'm really happy about that because the last few races weren't that lucky for me. So yeah, I said previously that I really like Jeddah. I don't know if I showed that because personally I think that my race pace was quite bad. I'm not happy about that. Quali pace was decent, I guess. I've been doing a lot of better times on the practice sessions before the race. But yeah, it's a win. So that's the only thing that matters for me right now.
Yeah, definitely a win and the 25 points. I'm just wondering because at the start of the race it seemed like Carter had a big straight line advantage over you, but after the safety car, not as much. Did you make any adjustments to the front wing in the pit stops?
No, I didn't. But yeah, that's the point I wanted to say. That some of the guys behind me, I think, were really low. Were running low wings because they were really fast on straights. But yeah, I was surprised. But that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Still obviously managing to take a win. That's 2 victories in a row for yourself now. How are you feeling going into Bahrain next week?
I was thinking of that when you asked the question to Jekyll, but I still don't know what to answer. I think I'll just say that it's a neutral track for me. We will just see. I just hope for a good result. The guys really stepped up their pace, so I guess it won't be an easy win, but I will fight for it. There is a Bahrain. There's a race in Bahrain in other leagues, so yeah, I can practice right now. And yeah, as I said, hope for a good result. Nothing much, nothing more.
Yeah, definitely the other race is giving you a chance to practice. So congratulations on the victory, and I'll let you head off.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
And now we're going to head to the man who's still leading the championship. Perhaps not the results he expected before the safety car. It is Kango. Great race from yourself to claim second place. So close, though, to getting your 4th win of the season.
Yeah, to be honest, I really don't know what to say, what to think about it. Like, I had 0 pace, and I almost got my PB for like 2.5 tenths in quali. I don't know how, but I just got the corner, so it was just bad for me. And yeah, there was a bit of an incident with, I think it was Velo that hit me, maybe, or Jekyll, I don't know. So yeah, race was over at this point, more or less, and the safety car saved me a little bit, but yeah, I think I did everything I could to win, and I wanted to pass Bogin before the last corner, which I did, and I tried just to put Jekyll on the outside to protect me, and yeah, I just got a tap from behind. I don't know who it was, so it fucked up a bit. Sorry for the language, but yeah, just on the run to the line, I had no ERS and no DRS at the end, so it's just a shame, but I guess we'll move on.
Yeah, I think I was surprised at how close all the cars were able to follow. Surprised there weren't a few more taps in that race. You said you were struggling a tiny bit with the race pace. Do you think that was probably the reason why you were using a lot more VRS than some of the drivers around you? And maybe if you had a bit more VRS, do you think you could have been taking the victory?
Well, to be honest, I was using a lot of ERS. I was just doing time in the corners. I had way too much understeer. So yeah, I just had to gain time with DRS sometimes, but I think I managed it quite well in the position I was, obviously. But I don't think I could have been 100% on DRS. I mean, Bogin was better out of the corner. He had DRS before the line, so it would have been tighter. But I think it would have got me anyways with the exit I had and everything. So I don't think it's down to DRS or anything. It's just, yeah, he drove really well. But yeah, just in the last corner, he had just a bit more luck than me or a bit more traction than me. A bit, I don't know, his tires were probably a bit better. But yeah, it is what it is at the end.
Yeah, it's what it is. But again, you know, 5th podium in a row for yourself. Still a good result. How are you feeling going into Bahrain next week?
I did literally 0 laps on the track since 6 months, maybe 7 months. So I really don't know what to expect. I was really strong at the beginning of the game on the track. It was the only track of the game I was strong on. But yeah, right now I don't know if I'm struggling as much as on F1 2020, then I don't even think I will be on the podium, but I mean, I will fight for it. And yeah, Bogin is really strong. So if I want to beat him or to compete with him, I need to be 100% perfect. And I know that. So I will give it my all and see what can happen.
Yeah, giving it your all is all you can do, really. And if you keep it clean on penalties again, you never know what could happen. But congratulations, Kango, on another podium. I'll let you head off and celebrate with your fans because it seems like you've got a few in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to all our top 3 drivers then for joining us. And that is pretty much it then for this quite a dramatic end to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Apologies for some of the issues we had in qualifying with the cars juddering, and apologies for the lobby issues as well. But I think you'd all agree that race was definitely worth the wait. And if you want to see some more cars blasting their way around Jeddah, of course, the PS4 tiers, the PS tiers are on tomorrow. Division 1, 3 and 4 at 6:30, and then Division 5 and 2 at 8:10. And of course, there is the Endurance League and F2 during the week. But from myself, Luke Etheridge, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in a week's time at the Sakhir International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Will Bogin make it a hat-trick of wins? Can Kango extend his lead in the championship, or will we perhaps get a new face on the top step of the podium? You'll have to wait and see to find out. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching, and goodbye.